want to begin by welcoming you all here today and thanking the Anti-Internment Group of Ireland for organising what is now an annual event here in Newry and for inviting me to once again address this event. It's almost a year since we last stood on this stretch of road to raise awareness and draw attention to the plight of Republican political prisoners. Since that time, very little has changed. If anything, the administration in McGabbery have increased and have further enforced their policy of torture, abuse and criminalisation of Republican prisoners in row house. One thing that certainly hasn't changed is internment. It's still here. We still have dedicated Republican activists being arrested and interned on trumped up charges. This policy is used to take them from their families and communities and to try and stem any form of Republican opposition to the establishment. Some comrades have found themselves interned for speaking their minds, for voicing and expressing their opinions. Opinions and views which most of us assembled here today would undoubtedly agree with. It's a disturbing reflection on today's society when one can be arrested, charged and imprisoned for simply thinking and expressing their thoughts, an Orwellian state if ever we've seen one. One of the better known examples of internment took place in the early 70s, when hundreds of people were rounded up in dawn raids and taken to Longcash internment camp. While that was a policy of mass internment, today our enemies seem to have learnt from that mistake. Today our enemies have adopted a more insidious policy of selective internment, whereby they target specific individuals rather than the masses. This is designed to remove key activists who are considered to be opponents, and also to strike fear into others, to attempt to dissuade people from actively involving themselves in republicanism. It has to be noted that some of those who were at one time victims and opponents of internment by remand, and who even represented and defended victims of that process, are today a part and parcel of the prosecution, judicial and political system which implements this form of internment. In McGabbery we still have the three core issues of isolation, controlled movement and strip searching. Anyone who's been unfortunate enough to experience any of them will know exactly how it feels. The continued use of strip searching, controlled movement and isolation is completely unjustified. There is no logical reason for the continued use of these repressive policies, as they only serve to fuel and create conflict. Republican prisoners have stated countless times that they seek to create a conflict-free environment. They aren't asking for anything unreasonable. They're simply seeking to live their lives in a particular fashion. Within row house, Republicans find themselves subjected to a repressive, restrictive regime enforced by bigoted sectarian screws under the control of MI5. Time and time again, we have heard accounts and reports of how the screws, the Red Squad and various governors continue to provoke and intimidate Republican prisoners. Some of those governors have been brought over from prisons in England who oversee the torturous regime in McGabbery. There are also severe concerns regarding the lack of, and even more disturbingly, the denial of medical treatment to Republican prisoners. Numerous prisoners, including those who were injured in the vicious attack waged against them by sectarian screws a few months ago, were and still are being denied medical attention and vital treatment. Much of what has occurred within McGabbery has gone unreported in the corporate media. Time and time again it's down to ourselves and the various prisoner support groups to spread awareness and highlight the ill treatment and torture endured by Republican prisoners. There is an onus on each and every one of us to do something to highlight these issues. Whether it's handing out leaflets, putting up posters, or organising and attending events such as this one can all play our part. The British establishment think they have us right where they want us when we're in prison. For centuries, Republicans have been held within British prisons for their involvement in the struggle for national and social liberation. And for centuries, the British have failed miserably to break us behind the wire. If anything, being held captive by our enemies strengthens us and makes us more determined to pursue our goals. They fail to understand that Republicans know more about surviving in prison than they, the jailers, realise. And on that point, I want to finish by quoting the Republican political prisoners themselves. They will say we threaten them, but for all they say, they understand best that we do not need to. Our integrity is what threatens our entire regime. Our defence rattles it to its very foundation. For all the technology, resources, finance, personnel, desire and inbred need to subjugate, There is nothing they can do to prevent the collapse of their current attempts to rehabilitate. Their weapons cannot penetrate here. Little observations in many prisons over very many years have amassed all the armour required. This is our terrain. Thank you.